Picture this, September 8th, 2025, Los Angeles. A tow yard worker walks up to a black Tesla that's been sitting in the lot for a few days. It was abandoned in the Hollywood Hills. Someone called in a foul odor. He pops the front trunk. Inside, a cadaver bag. Detectives are called. They partially unzip it. Inside the bag, a decomposed head and torso. The car is registered to a 20-year-old rising pop star named David, real name David Anthony Burke. The same day they're processing this crime scene, David is on stage in Minneapolis, performing for thousands of fans. That's the story we're telling today, and I promise you, it gets so much darker. Before we get into any of that, you need to understand who this kid actually is, because his story is genuinely one of the most unlikely come-ups in recent music history. David was born in Queens, New York. He moved to Houston, Texas when he was 13. He was homeschooled after 7th grade, played piano, sang in church, and had grown up almost exclusively listening to gospel music. Then he discovered Fortnite. In interviews, David credited the game with exposing him to artists like The Neighborhood and Arctic Monkeys, music that completely changed what he thought was possible. He started streaming, trying to build a YouTube following with Fortnite montage videos, but then he ran into a wall. When he ran into copyright issues with the music he was adding to his videos in 2021, he turned to his mom. "I'm like crying to mom about it," he later told Benny Blanco. "I'm like, yo, I don't know what to do." And she was on the phone and said, "Just make your own music, go get out of my face." That throwaway comment from a busy mom became the accidental launch of a music career. David started making music from inside his sister's closet in their Houston home. No studio, no equipment, just a phone app and an idea. His early songs quietly started spreading. Then Here With Me went viral on TikTok when he was just 17. Then came Romantic Homicide in 2022. It peaked at number 4 on Billboard's Hot Rock and Alternative Songs chart. He signed with Darkroom and Interscope Records, released his debut EP Petals to Thorns and its follow-up The Lost Petals in 2023. He then opened for SZA on her massive SOS tour. And in 2025, he released his debut album Withered and launched his first world tour. In September 2025, he also teamed up with Epic Games to release Locked and Loaded, Fortnite's first ever official anthem. "Fortnite has been such a big part of my life," he told Variety. "Being able to create the official anthem feels like a true full circle moment." He had no idea how dark that phrase was about to become. Celeste was born to parents who had immigrated from El Salvador. She was a 14-year-old girl from Lake Elsinore, California, a small town about 75 miles from Hollywood. People who knew her remembered her as an industrious and bright young girl. Here's where things get complicated and deeply disturbing. Discord messages indicate that Celeste and David had been communicating as early as October 2022. She was 12 years old. She was allegedly a member of David's official Discord server, evidenced by a user with the username Celeste, whom other users at the time referred to as David's girlfriend. Let that sink in. She was 12. At 13, Celeste appeared alongside David in a live stream video shot in the early hours of the morning from inside a West Hollywood home linked to the entertainer. She was then photographed backstage at his sold-out show at the Fonda Theater in Los Angeles in June 2024. Celeste's mother, in conversations with investigators, mentioned that Celeste had a boyfriend named David at the time of her disappearance. They allegedly even had matching tattoos. Investigators later noted Celeste had an index finger tattoo reading "shh," similar to a tattoo David has. Her brother told reporters that David had picked Celeste up in his Tesla. They were going to a movie. On April 5th, 2024, Celeste, a 13-year-old 7th grader, was reported missing by her family for the third and final time. She called home one final time in May 2024. That was the last confirmed contact with her family. In the summer of 2024, David posted on his Discord server that he was experiencing writer's block. "I'm in a song crisis right now," he wrote, and within minutes, someone in the server replied, "Drop the one with the missing girl, Celeste Rivas Hernandez." And that's a direct quote. Someone, knowing that Celeste had been publicly reported as a missing 13-year-old, suggested that David release a song about her, and David did not respond. CNN later reported that this cryptic post emerged as a key piece of evidence in the grand jury investigation, in which prosecutors deemed David a target. There's more. Investigators also used geolocation to verify David's unexplained presence just a few blocks from Celeste's family home, over an hour's drive from where he lived in Hollywood around the time the girl was reported missing. This wasn't a coincidence. This wasn't a rumor or a fan theory. It was documented, photographed, and time-stamped. Fast forward to the summer of 2025. David's black 2023 Tesla Model Y was parked on Bluebird Avenue in the Hollywood Hills as early as late July 2025. On September 3rd, the car was cited for violating the 72-hour parking ordinance and towed to an impound yard 2 days later. On September 8th, police responded to a report of a foul odor. Inside the front trunk, investigators found a cadaver bag. When they partially unzipped it, they observed a decomposed head and torso. Celeste's dismembered remains had been placed inside 2 cadaver bags. The body was found one day after what would have been Celeste's 15th birthday. The very next day, September 9th, David performed at the Fillmore in Minneapolis as part of his Withered tour. A digital camera later found at David's rented home contained photos of both Celeste and David taken in late December 2024 and early January 2025, months after she had been reported missing. A private investigator hired by the property owner also found a burn cage incinerator at the Hollywood Hills home David had been staying. Around the same time, David transferred ownership of one of his Texas homes to his mother. Here's where it gets eerie in a different way. David's music videos had already been drawing scrutiny. His romantic homicide video features imagery of a bloodied woman and a blindfolded figure. And then there's his video for One More Dance, released in February 2025, while Celeste had been missing for nearly a year. The music video depicts David placing a bloodied body into the trunk of a car. When You've Got a Missing Girl, a song crisis post about that same girl, a car trunk with a body, and a music video about putting a body in a car trunk, the internet is going to talk, and it did. At 5 p.m. on April 16, 2026, 7 months and 8 days after Celeste's body was found, the LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division arrived at a residence on Marmont Avenue in the Hollywood Hills. The address was less than a mile from the tow yard where Celeste's body had been found. David Anthony Burke was arrested on suspicion of murder and booked at LAPD's 77th Street Station at 11:12 p.m. that night. 4 days later, the Los Angeles County District Attorney Nathan Hochman held a press conference to announce formal charges, and the charges are significant. If convicted on the special circumstance charges, David faces either life in prison without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. This story started with a body in a trunk. Now it's a first-degree murder case with special circumstances, a sexual abuse charge dating back to when Celeste was under 14, and a prosecution theory that says he killed her to save his career, a DA who says a rising pop star used a sharp instrument to silence a child who threatened to tell the truth about what he had done to her. He is innocent until proven guilty. His lawyers will make that case, and this will play out in court. But whatever the verdict ends up being, Celeste Rivas Hernandez went to someone's house on April 23, 2025. She was 14 years old. She never came home. She deserved to turn 15. She deserved to go home. She deserved better than to be found the way she was found. We are going to keep covering this as it develops. Subscribe, drop a comment, and if you're only hearing about this story for the first time right now, share this video. This has been Allegedly Ours.